All right. White's faithful, gather round because your boy's got some absolutely mental news coming out of Elland Road that's gonna make your head spin faster than a Bielsa training session. I'm talking about 3 massive stories that are rocking our beloved Leeds United to its very core. And trust me, you're not ready for what's coming. We've got a goalkeeper in the middle of a legal nightmare, a former hero whose dreams are being shattered, and a player who's basically giving Leeds the middle finger on his way out the door. This is the kind of drama that makes Game of Thrones look like a children's bedtime story. Before we dive into this absolute madness, smash that like button if you bleed white, subscribe if you want to stay ahead of every Leeds United story, and drop a comment letting me know, are you ready for the truth? Because what I'm about to tell you about our shot stoppers' legal troubles is gonna leave you speechless. The first bombshell involves our new number 1, and let me tell you, the Whites faithful, this situation is messier than Elland Road after a championship playoff final. Are you sitting down? Because this ride is about to get bumpy. Right then, Whites faithful, let's talk about Lucas Perry, the Brazilian shot stopper who was supposed to be our savior between the sticks. Remember how buzzing we all were when we signed him from Lyon? Well, hold on to your scarves because this story is about to get darker than a Yorkshire winter night. Our new keeper isn't just dealing with settling into life in the Premier League. Oh no, that would be too simple for Leeds United, wouldn't it? Lucas Perry is currently involved in a massive legal battle that's following him all the way from Brazil to West Yorkshire. The lad is suing his former club Botafogo for a whopping $388,000 in unpaid wages and debts. Can you believe it? Here we are trying to establish ourselves back in the Premier League, and our goalkeeper is stuck in courtrooms fighting for money he's owed. We're talking about image rights, severance pay, and all sorts of financial mess that should have been sorted years ago. The first hearing is set for November 5th, Guy Fawkes night. How's that for explosive timing? And here's the kicker that'll make your blood boil. While all this legal drama is swirling around him, Perry's performances on the pitch have been, let's be honest, questionable at best. The stats don't lie, White's faithful. During that nightmare against Arsenal, he completed just 8 out of 24 long balls. 8! My Nan could do better with her eyes closed. But wait, it gets worse. The data shows he's nowhere near the level he was at Lyon. And with all this courtroom chaos hanging over his head, how's he supposed to focus on keeping clean sheets for our beloved Whites? His goals prevented stat against Arsenal was an absolutely shocking 2.23, meaning he was actually costing us goals instead of saving them. This is the level we're dealing with. The legal nightmare isn't going anywhere fast, and neither apparently is our goalkeeper's form. With Daniel Farke trying to build a solid foundation, having your number 1 distracted by lawsuits is the last thing we need. How can he command his penalty area when his mind's in a Brazilian courtroom? This is just the beginning though, because what I'm about to tell you about a certain former England international will break your hearts into a million pieces. White's faithful, sit down for this one, because what I'm about to tell you about Calvin Phillips is gonna rip your hearts out and stomp all over them. Remember our Yorkshire Pirlo? The academy lad who became an England international wearing our beloved white shirt. Well, prepare yourselves for the most devastating update imaginable. We all dreamed, didn't we? We all hoped and prayed that Calvin Phillips would come home to Elland Road where he belongs. After his career turned into an absolute disaster at Manchester City, we thought, surely, our prodigal son would return to save us in midfield. With Ao Tanaka and Ethan Ampadu struggling with injuries, Phillips seemed like the perfect solution to our problems. But here's where it gets absolutely heartbreaking, White's faithful. Pep Guardiola has just thrown the biggest curveball imaginable. Instead of releasing Phillips to come home to us, the Spanish mastermind is keeping him in Manchester City's 25-man Premier League squad. Can you believe this absolute madness? This means our dreams of seeing Phillips back in white are dead! Finished, kaput. The lad who gave us some of the most magical moments under Bielsa, who helped drag us back to the Premier League, who embodied everything we love about Leeds United, he's staying put in that sky blue prison. Think about it. Phillips has barely kicked a ball for City. 2 Premier League starts in his first season. 3 in his second. His loan spells at West Ham and Ipswich were disasters. The man's career is in shambles. And instead of coming home where he'd be loved and appreciated, he's choosing to warm the bench at the Etihad. This is football cruelty at its finest, Whites faithful. While we're stuck with Ilya Groove trying to fill the void left by our Yorkshire Prince, Phillips is clinging to false hope in Manchester. The 29-year-old midfielder is essentially throwing away what could be his final years of meaningful football, all for the slim chance of impressing Pep Guardiola. The 49ers, yeah. Lord, 49ers were probably wise to avoid this mess. But it doesn't make the pain any less real for us supporters who remember what it used to be. We remember the thunderous tackles, the passes, the split defenses, the leadership that drove us forward. Now he's just another forgotten squad player at the Etihad, while we desperately need his quality. But if you think that's the end of our troubles, think again. What I'm about to reveal about one of our recent signings will show you just how little respect some players have for this great club. Right then, Whites faithful, if the first two stories didn't make your blood boil enough, this final revelation is going to send you over the edge. We're talking about Isaac Schmidt, the Swiss defender who's just delivered the biggest slap in the face to Leeds United that you've ever seen. Remember when we signed this lad? We thought we were getting a solid addition to our defensive ranks, someone who could contribute to our Premier League push. Instead, what did we get? A player so disinterested in fighting for his place at Elland Road that he's practically begging to stay away permanently. Isaac Schmidt has just gone public, and I mean publicly, declaring that he wants to make his loan move to Werder Bremen permanent. The cheek of this lad! While we're battling in the Premier League, while we're fighting for every point, this player is literally apartment hunting in Germany and telling reporters he wants to stay there for the long term. Can you believe the audacity? This is a player who made just 14 appearances for us last season. 14! He couldn't even get into our championship side ahead of Jayden Bogle. He started exactly 0 league games, managing only 2 FA Cup appearances when Fark was rotating the squad. And now, after scoring 1 goal for Werder Bremen, Schmidt thinks he's found his paradise away from Leeds United. He's telling German media that staying in Bremen is his big goal, while completely dismissing any future at Elland Road. Talk about burning bridges and showing 0 respect for the badge. The 25-year-old Swiss international is essentially telling the world that he'd rather play in the Bundesliga than fight for his place at one of England's most historic clubs. He's openly admitting that he's looking for apartments in Germany, completely settling in for a permanent stay away from West Yorkshire. This is everything that's wrong with modern football, Whites faithful. Players who can't cut it at our level, running off to easier leagues and acting like they've made the right choice. With James Justin and Gabriel Goodmanson now at a club, Schmidt knows he'd be even further down the pecking order, so instead of fighting like a true White, he's taken the easy way out. What makes it even more insulting is that Werder Bremen reportedly has an option to make this permanent for just $3 million. We're essentially being robbed by a player who never even gave us a proper chance. He's already mentally checked out of Leeds United after just 1 disastrous season. The bottom line is this: Whites faithful, while we're dealing with a goalkeeper battling legal demons, watching our former hero slip further away from a return home, and seeing players abandon ship at the first opportunity. We need to ask ourselves, what does this say about where Leeds United stands right now? Are we still the club that breeds warriors? Or have we become a stepping stone for players who don't truly understand what it means to wear the white shirt? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button if you want the truth about our beloved Whites. And tell me, do you think these 3 situations show Leeds United is in crisis? Or are we just going through the growing pains of a club rebuilding its identity? Marching on together, but are we marching in the right direction?